Well, hello, this is Rosa, RCG Creations. How you doing? We're bringing you today a baking item. And bear with me. I'm pooped, wiped out. I've been up since 8:30 this morning. I processed, let's see, 10, 20, 25 pounds of potatoes. I've got 10 trays on the dehydrator of home fries, hash browns. They're the kind of the little squares, the little tiny little squares. So that's in the dehydrator right now. So if you hear that, that's what you're hearing. I've got, I'm on my last canner of processing, pressure canning potatoes, the russet potatoes. And I got a total of 25 wide-mouth pint jars out of it. So it's been a very productive and very busy day. And we also had the plumber in today because we had a stopped-up toilet and we had a stopped-up kitchen sink. We didn't know what it was. And FYI, I don't know if you know this or not. It's going to undo the video, but I'm just throwing this in there because the plumber told me this. My husband knows the plumber's known him since high school. So when your house settles, our house was built in '82. With time, because it settles, because everybody's house settles, okay, you get your straight pipe gets little ridges in it from the settling, even though it's sitting on cement slab, okay, and when it gets those little ridges and it sits in there, it's kind of like a little hill. So pretend like this is a little hill. So as your water and your food are going through, or your toilet, whatever it is, okay, it gets kind of caught, so it kind of backs up. So sometimes you have to do this like maybe twice a year. Maybe like the last time he did it was 3 years ago. So and it was just the two of us. So, and he goes, it's pretty good. But he's got this little machine and little snake thing. It's all electronic and stuff. You got the little camera and everything. And he looked at all the pipes. And I didn't realize this, but all your pipes connect to only one sewer line in your house. This is a Texas thing. I don't know if it's on all over the nation or anywhere else, but in Texas, where we live, all your pipes from all your kitchens, faucets, your toilets, they all meet and connect to one sewer line that throws it out to the city. And then there's where you collect it and stuff. So I learned some stuff today. He was here for like an hour, hour and a half, doing everything. So it was pretty interesting. Hubby was here too, so of course they were chit-chatting, visiting. I was dicing and slicing and peeling my potatoes while they were doing their stuff. But anyway, so I'm a pooped puppy. I'm exhausted, and it is 10:20, and I am making zucchini bread. I've had zucchini bread. I enjoy it. I like it. I've never made it, but I've got my old trusty. I saw a bunch of recipes online and on YouTube, but none that I was really very pleased with. So I went to my old-fashioned Betty Crocker cookbook that I got here. I got this as my wedding back in 1980. So this book is very well loved. But anyway. So I'm going to do a recipe that I trust, because I trust everything in Betty Crocker Cookbook. I just do, I like it. And it's actually the pumpkin bread recipe, but instead of the pumpkin, I'm replacing the 2 2/3 cup, oh no, how much? It's 1 can, 16 ounces of pumpkin. I'm exchanging that for 3 cups of shredded zucchini, which is about 2 mediums, okay? And I've doubled the batch, because I want to go ahead and use up all my zucchini. I had gotten some at a farmer's market. You may have seen that haul. I'm pretty sure, yeah, I do. I'll remember, I'll put that link in there of that haul where I went to a farmer's market and I got 3 zucchinis. And they actually made right at barely 6 cups. So I'm about a cup over, but I think I'm okay because I'm going to be mixing this up. It's going to be I'm making some muffins. And then I'm going to do the regular little loaf pan. I'm going to do some of those. And I got my stuff ready. I don't know how much this is going to make because I haven't made it before. But I'll write it down on my little tally sheet on my sticky note next to my recipe. So we'll know when I double batch how much it makes. So let's get started to the making. Okay, so what the recipe calls for. And I'll tell you that I will put a pop-up box. But everything will be in the directions. The description box there with the ingredients and the recipe itself. but it calls for 2/3 cup shortening, 2 2/3 cup sugar, 4 eggs, 1 can pumpkin, where we're going to be using 3 cups of shredded zucchini, 2/3 cup water, 3 1/3 cup all-purpose flour, 2 teaspoons baking soda, 1 1/2 teaspoon salt, 1/2 teaspoon baking powder, 1 teaspoon ground cinnamon, 1 teaspoon ground cloves, 2/3 cup chopped nuts. And remember, we used to have those videos. I'll put some on there about Green Chef and that other home delivery service. Well, we didn't use the nuts because hubby didn't like the nuts. So on one of these, because I can be picky and choosy in some of the muffin ones, I'm going to put some nuts inside them because I love nuts, really like a lot of nuts. So I'm going to be using my leftover nuts that I had from another item, another recipe. Okay, and then you can put in there 2/3 cup raisins, but I'm not doing raisins because I like raisins plain. I don't like them mixed in any kind of cooking or cakes or anything. I can't handle that. So we're not going to do that. So let's get started. So it says you grease bottom only of 2 loaf pans, which I already sprayed the little bottoms of the little muffin cans. I didn't do my pan because I wanted to make sure how many pans I'm going to use. So I'm going to do those, but I got my spray pan ready to go for that. Now it says you mix the shortening and the sugar in a large bowl. Then we're going to add the eggs. So I'm going to use my little spatula. So here's my sugar, here's my shortening. And I ended up, I'm an old school, I grew up and was raised with Crisco. So that's what I'm using. And I'm going to mix this all up. And I really want to stay under my 15 minutes. So I'm going to do all the mixing, put it all together. But if you really would like to see a step-by-step detail of the entire recipe, okay, let me know, put it in a comment, and then I'll do another video of step-by-step, okay? But I've been noticing that I've been going past my 15-minute time frame. So I'm going to mix this all up, and we'll bring you back. Okay, I'm going to show you. This is a quick little tip. And I learned this from my mom and my aunt, watching them cook. Because I didn't cook, I just watched them do stuff. When you're mixing your sugar and your shortening, if you use this as like a spatula, this is why I'm using a spatula, and you break it in, the sugar into the shortening, see how it incorporates itself? See that? So this is a good way to make sure that you know that your product is incorporated and mixed extremely well together, and you don't have any like lumps of shortening, and it's different. So I just want to give you a quick little tidbit. That's going to make for a better tasting meal. Okay, so now we're doing, mix the shortening and the sugar in a large bowl, add your eggs, the pumpkin, and the water. So it's going to be the eggs, pumpkin, zucchini, and let me get my eggs because they're in the fridge still if we're not getting them out. And guess what? My canner has started steaming, which means I can set my timer for 10 minutes because it's at a steady stream of steam. Set it for 10 minutes. And then in 10 minutes, I'm going to add my weight. And then when it starts to jiggle, I'll set my processing time at 35 minutes so I can process my potatoes, my last batch in the canner. Then I'm done with that stuff. Okay. So it asked for, what did it ask for? How many eggs? Ooh, 4 eggs. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, I had just enough in this tray. I have another one in the fridge, but okay. Let me use this to carry my scraps. Now, if you use farm fresh eggs, don't forget it's best if you break your egg in a separate container, because sometimes that farm fresh egg, straight from the chicken, may not be too good. One of these days I'm going to learn, if somebody knows how shoot me a comment. Give me your email so then I can get your phone number and I can talk to you. I have tried and tried and tried to learn how to fast forward. I just can't get it. I don't understand it. I get what it says. I know what it means. I just don't get it. And I know it's very simple, very elementary, but my OCD kicks in. And like I said before, a lot of times my OCD is actually a negative, not a positive. Most of the time it's a positive, but not always. Get this out of the way. Let me get my egg container. Time for me to get me some more eggs from the other fridge. I wet my hands, it got a little sticky from the egg. Now we're going to mix this up. And I'm kind of keeping an eyeball look. I'm going to mix this up first in the little puddle that it's in right now. Because I want the egg yolks and the egg whites to really mix well. Okay, now I'm going to incorporate it into my flour and my sugar mixture. Oh, I forgot to add. How much water do I get in? 2/3 cup of water. I already have the water pre-measured. Two-thirds cup water. And then what else did it say to do? Go to add the eggs, the pumpkin, and the water. Okay. Let me mix this part up first. Whew. Isn't that pretty? Look how nice and yellow those eggs are. Now I wish we had farm fresh eggs, but I don't know any local farmers. And I haven't gone to the farmer's market to grab me some, so we'll just get buy stuff at the store. So let me mix that, mixed up pretty good. Now I'm going to add my zucchini. Get this bowl out of the way. Messy, messy, messy. But I'm slowly getting stuff rid of dishes in here. So now we're just going to mix this all up. And then the next phase is we add our flour, baking soda, all the other rest of the ingredients. Flour, baking soda, we'll mix that in a little at a time. Let me mix all this up first. And don't forget, dig from the bottom. The bottom center. I do love zucchini. I do not so much. But because it's sweet, I think he's going to like it. He likes anything sweet. I'm glad I got myself my big bowl here. I got a bigger bowl. But I thought this should be enough. But I don't know. Once I got flour, this may overflow. We'll see. And see, you see some little chunks of sugar and shortening mix. Just get your spatula or the back of a spoon. That'll work too. Just touch the back of that spoon and smooth that out because you don't want those big lumps. You want to make sure that those are all mixed up good. So I'm pushing that against the wall of the bowl. And this is the good part when you're mixing, so you'll see, especially because you're working with shortening lard, whatever it is that recipe is making, since you're working with that. And I'm going to scrape my spoon. It's very helpful if you scrape your spoon ever so often. I wish I had a flat one like this that didn't have any slotted holes on it, but I don't. I've been looking for a good quality one. I don't want the little cheapo one either. So that's, there we go. See, I'm flattening it out. Now it's mixing up with the rest of the mix. And I'm breaking up that sugar and shortening combination, mixture. Okay, so I think I've got most of my bacon lumps out of there. Oh, I just saw another one. And I know this is a little time consuming, but you will actually like it because you don't want to bite into all this. Now, it may probably will melt when it's in the baking process, but if it doesn't, you don't want to bite into a whole chunk of lard. Well, let me put it this way. I know it'll melt, but it's just an extra way of making sure that every single bite is as good without any, oh, what was that? Okay, now we're going to add our dry ingredients. This is my baking soda, salt, baking powder. So let's just mix all that up in here. And this one, yep, it says cinnamon and all that. So here's my cinnamon. I did have my cloves in here, but it said, because I'm using zucchini to mix the vanilla with my cloves. So that's what I did. Man, I wish we had smell-o-vision. You would love it. It smells so good. Autumn is here, so time the season for bacon is coming. If it's not coming, it's already here. Okay, and then let me get my flour, and I'm going to add a little bit at a time. And I'm just going to do a little bit, then I'm going to turn the camera off, because I really want to stay within my 15-minute time frame. But all you're going to do is mix it all up. Make sure it's all well incorporated. And I might be able to make this big bowl. We'll bring you back, so the next phase will be pouring it into the containers. We'll bring you back. Okay, we are back. These have been cooled because the muffins took 40 minutes only to make. I'm going to move the camera down. Well, you can sort of see it right here. I've got 3 loaf pans, and I was able to fit the entire mix, all of it, in this green container, but I had to mix it very, very slow. And if I had left the video recording, it would have been a good hour and 15-minute video, which we don't want to do that just because I'm just sitting there mixing. But when you're doing a double batch like that, number one, make sure you have a container big enough to hold everything. And it is better, it's a better tasting recipe if you really mix your ingredients very, very well. I thought I had gone all the way to the bottom and all that, and there was 3 little times when I was scooping it out that there was clumps of powder, that flour, that didn't get mixed up. So I mixed it up really quickly with the mix that was around it, and it turned out pretty good. So now let's do the taste test. Now these are just hot because they just came out of the oven. My canner is done. I got 25 half-pint wide mouth jars of potatoes, so we're set. That's going to make 25 meals for me and hubby, which is yay! My dishes are all done. The other ones were already washed, dried, and put away. This is the last batch. It is 12:30, and I am sweating, sweating, sweating. I'm hot. The canner, the oven was on. I'm getting in and out of this, getting the jars out. Hubby done gone to bed because he was a pooped. And so let's do the taste test. Let's see. This is just grab one. Doesn't really matter which one. Now I did fill them up about 2/3 full. So they did rise a little. Not a whole lot, but they did rise a little. And I love these silicone the silicone cups. In fact, I'm going to put this in the sink so I can wash it. And it's nice and crusty on top, really moist on the inside. But the biggest thing is, what does it taste like? This is definitely not on my weight loss program. But if I only stick to 1, maybe 2 muffins, I'll be good. Now, if you make them in a loaf pan, let them totally cool. Once they're totally cool, touch them. Touch all the way around it, and touch the top, touch the bottom. Wrap it in plastic wrap. I would wrap it at least 3 times. Make sure all 4 sides, excuse me, all 6 sides, 1, 2, 3, 4, yeah, all 6 sides, all the way very well wrapped. Then put it in a freezer bag. These loaf pans, you can do them whole, or you can slice them, then wrap them, and then put them in a freezer bag. They'll last up to, I have my notes, I'll put it in the description box, and I'll do a pop-up. But I believe it said they last up to 6 months. So, guess what? I won't have to be making dessert for another 6 months, because I'm actually going to do, because for me, it's for me and hubby. This is actually going to make 3 meals per loaf. Now, I am having some company come over. We're celebrating my husband's sister's birthday tomorrow here at the house. So I am going to get one of these and put them out for anybody that wants any. But I'm going to be stingy. This is good. I ain't going to share too much. I'm not going to share 1 pan. And I'm keeping these because that's going to be my limit intake, because I really want to stick on my weight program. But I will tell you, this one for sure is a 2 thumbs up. And I definitely will be making this recipe again. And I forgot to tell you, when I was doing my mixing, I ran out of all-purpose flour, but I Googled it, and it said you can substitute whole wheat flour. So half, I would say a little bit less than half of the requirement is all-purpose flour. The other part is whole wheat flour, and you can't taste the difference on either one. It's moist. I don't necessarily taste the zucchini, so this is a good way to get the greens into your children or your spouses. Like hubby don't like greens. This is something I know he will eat because it's sweet. It does call for a lot of sugar. So we're going to cheat, but we're going to cheat good. So anyway, don't forget to hit the comment section. I'm going to take my last bite. I'm going to relax for like 10 minutes. And I'm going to bed because I got to be up at 8 in the morning to get ready for the company coming over tomorrow. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to hit like, comment, and subscribe. And definitely I would love to see in the comments your recipes, your baking recipes, or something that's old or new, whatever, something you've tweaked a little bit. Like, give me your tweaks on that. Because on this one, the recipe didn't say so, but I went ahead and wrote down a little cheat sheet note of how long it took the muffins to make. And I put everything in the same batch, in the same oven. Saved myself a bunch of time. So everything, all of these, so there was 3 loaf pans and 1 rack of muffins. So that's 12. All of it went in the oven at the same time. This came out after 40 minutes. And this came out of 67 minutes. Now there's one, I forget which one it is. I think it's this one right here, because it's the last one. I forgot to put my walnuts in there. I chopped up walnuts that I showed you in the beginning. But I did put them in there. I actually had to take it out of the oven, because I was like, my nuts! Took them out of the oven, took that 1 pan out, put my nuts in there, mixed it back up again. It only been in there maybe 3 minutes at the most. But the other 2 don't have any nuts, so this one's going to be mine because hubby don't like nuts, and I do. So anyway, goodbye. We'll see you in the next video. Take care. Have a good one. Bye-bye.